Hi, are you ready to walk with me and take a spiritual journey? Are you a seeker and are you always longing for something bigger and believing that there is more out there? Then welcome to today's show. I am so happy and excited to see you. Welcome to Allianz Joy. Today we are on Win Win Women TV. Super excited to do this for you and to share information. Hashtag sharing is caring. And we love to do that. We are a great Win Win Women's a great network for women, just to share and to talk to each other and to connect and to care for each other. So I'm glad to do this, and you will also always be able to watch the show again and see replays, and I will lead you through the whole journey of how to get there. Had already a great day, a great week with amazing other inspiring and super bright show host, beautiful women. So I want you to check it out and welcome to my show today. So we're going to talk a little bit about taking the spiritual journey and where that comes from. And I have several things that I always share with my patients. I work in an addiction recovery facility, and what we do there is I work with my patients as a wellness and life coach on looking forward to a bright future without substance, right? We want to have a future without alcohol, maybe, without drugs. We want to walk through our trauma. We want to process, and they do that. Like my patients do that with therapists, with counselors. And with me, we're always looking for anxiety intervention. We're looking to get rid of physical pain that manifest in our body, right? If we're holding on to a lot of pain, anxiety, and trauma, and grief, and whatever we're holding on to, we want to release that. And what I also, through different techniques, and what I also do with my patients is look at a spiritual journey. And that doesn't necessarily mean on Sunday morning going to church. A spiritual journey might be something completely different. It might engage into Christianity. It might engage into you. It might mean into you that you are going to engage in your church family or into practicing a certain religion. But going into spirituality has a really, really old, far, ancient, historic, deeper meaning. And you have to kind of be a seeker for that, or you kind of have to recognize that you're walking into a wall and that you need to go a little further. And this is when you say, why am I here? What is my why? What on earth is going on and where do I really need to be? And I help my patients and my clients with that in my practice and in addiction rehab, right? So if we are going to look at this spiritual awakening, that does have to do with faith. It does have to do with meaning of life. It does have to do with not being constantly on the run or actually constantly being really busy with our jobs and careers and money and all that external stuff that we get so caught up in that sometimes we just feel that we're lost and we don't know really why we do all that, right? We just don't really know what our true calling is or what our destiny in life is. Our destiny is not a three-bedroom, two-bath house. And I know that from experience because I shared with you previously, many times before, that in my former life, I was just seeking for that purpose. I was seeking for that destiny, but I thought that maybe if I'm getting married or I have that house, that three-bedroom, two house, the bigger the better, right? That is gonna make me happy. And that was not true at all. That was not true at all. I was nowhere into that journey of peace and happiness and finding their true calling. So if you are thinking that you need to be fed by the external world, then we need to stop right there. We need to see the signs that will tell us that we're actually really pursuing a journey into a more meaningful and spiritual lifestyle. Right? So if you're looking for the true calling, then of course a lot of people have done that. We've done it for centuries. For centuries, we've been exploring the depth of our souls. And that used to be in all kind of tribal culture, in ancient culture. That used to be kind of like a person that you would talk to, right? It might be a shaman, it might be a leader, a spiritual leader that would tell you where your signs what signs you have to follow, right? What happens and what you could see, and where you had to be more aware of, and then what path you had to follow. So in those lands, in those cultures, in this ancient history that is part of us, we had rituals and we had those rites that we just took into understanding more about ourselves. You find that really old connection with the soul. That's what we're looking for. We find a really authentic purpose. And it's not that I just found it, right? You have to do a lot of work for it. You have to come to a lot of curveballs and kind of overcome and climb back up and go like, where do I need to be? And sometimes you just kind of fall off the wagon and you get back on. So that is really, really, really true in seeking our true nature. There's a famous mythologist that I used to love to read in my philosophy classes, Joseph Campbell. And he always talks about our journey into spirituality as the calls to adventure. You have to take that with joy. You have to do that with a little curiosity, right? You want to find out things. You want to study and learn more about yourself. And we can't do that if we're just satisfied with the exterior, the external world, with the exterior input. And all of us come to this point. All of us sometimes go like, is this it? Really? And so if you see in history how many times already we see people, historic figures, archetypes taking the dive, like Orpheus going all the way to Hades, right? All the way to bring his Eurydice back with him to find his true love. And we see that in the stories of Beowulf, in the Viking tradition. We see that in the stories of the Sumerian people when they are, when they're following Inanna, right? We're leaving everything behind in those stories. We're leaving all the comfort zone. We leave everything that is known to us to dive in the unknown. And sometimes, my friends, we have to do that. I must say, from a personal experience, I did that many times. I was a seeker. I wanted to know what was in my soul. I wanted to know why I was rolling around. And I really missed the boat a few times in the past. I was too busy with all that other stuff, too busy fitting in, too busy pleasing other people, too busy trying to make it work, too busy being angry or just on that revenge path, right? Or just obstructing my own path so many times, so many times boycotting, sabotaging my own journey into just that really wonderful transformation. I call that from expectation to transformation, right? We talk about that a lot. But I'm going a little bit more into what I share with my patients here. I read this stuff years ago and I always wrote it down. I loved it so much. How can you really see? How can you really see that you're walking into that wall? Well, in the first place, like I said, we are so difficult. We are so busy with the stress around us, letting that affect us, that we don't climb out of that and we don't move beyond that and we don't say, stop for me right now. I need to work on myself. And that is where we can start first. We're feeling a little lost in life. Sign. We're constantly stressed out. We have anxiety. We're feeling depressed and we're looking for a true home. We're looking for a place where we belong. And that is us. We belong to us, right? We belong to ourselves. We belong to everybody, but we belong to ourselves as well. And so many times we step over that. So that's a sign. If you're looking for your true home, another sign is if you're constantly wondering, am I actually doing the things that I really love? Am I really following my true path? Is this really where I need to be? What is my true meaning of life? What is my why? And if you ask yourself that a lot, yep, that's another sign that you gotta walk that journey with me. It's not a difficult journey. It's just a very consistent journey into better and more peaceful, more harmony, more clarity in the things that you want to see. So if you're asking for strange, or if you're feeling strange happenings, like your dreams are out of the wazoo, or you're just constantly running into patterns of repetition that you can't really place, and that you know they're not good for you, but you don't know why you do it. If you're feeling extra sensitive and fragile, sometimes if you feel like the rug has been pulled away underneath you, those are all signs that you're actually really seeking for more, seeking for a deeper meaning, a deeper journey into that spiritual, into that mind body connection. The spirituality has to do with that mind body connection. It has to do with getting to know yourself, the way you're thinking, the way you're acting and reacting, responding, the way you're loving and caring, the way you are receiving and acknowledging that and accepting that, the way that you don't take things for granted anymore, but you really start seeing everything that is happening with that being meaningful. If you're kind of ready to shred your old self and transform into a new, more joyful, welcome to Elian's Joy, more joyful journey, then let's take a few little steps that are very important to go on this journey. You have to go into the spiritual journey, acknowledging that it's time consuming and that there's phases. There are phases to it. And the first phase is that you're gonna go soul searching. And I always start with my patients and clients to say, tell me what you don't want. Let's play this through the process of elimination. So tell me what you really don't want. What do you not want to see for yourself in the future? So that we can eliminate that and start becoming more into a pattern of really trying to find and dig to where you are really inside. You are there. But what is things that you really want, right? We're gonna go soul searching. We're gonna go deep inside. We're gonna go to this path that we always know that there's more to life. And you have to go on that journey, just kind of being able to do that, right? If you're feeling that restless and if you're resistant and that you can't do that, you have to open up and try to find out what is it? Why am I here? Right? So we have to awaken. Number two, we have to awaken and we have to be willing to learn. With my patients, I say many times, guys, I love you, but you gotta do the work. And you didn't do the work. You didn't do the work. It's work. It's work to read and to find and to feel and to acknowledge and to heal yourself. It's work. It's work. You have to commit to it. You have to do the work. And so that's a phase that we're finding where we're finding a little hope. Um, we're finding a little zest for life, right? We're feeling that anticipation. We're feeling that we're learning and growing. We're getting something out of it. We're starting to recognize things that we learned and we start to apply them. We start to apply them. That is a very, very important phase in this learning process of your spiritual journey. That you start feeling a little excitement about, oh, yes, I recognize this. Me, right? Silly me. This is me. I'm not apologizing for it anymore. I recognize that this is my path. I recognize this is my true self. Right? So you're getting a little bit excited about that, knowing that that is okay to recognize and put yourself for a while first. It's okay to dig deeper. It is okay. And then you also find in those phases the third phase where you are just having a lot of demons around you, a lot of dragons, and a lot of people that go like, "What are you doing? Well, just be normal, or just fit in, or are you being weird again?" And people are talking to you that they're not really understanding what you're doing, and that might throw you off. And sometimes it's more an inner blockage, right? Where you know that you should just believe what everybody tells you, or you should just stick with that traditional religion, right? Don't seek any further. It is what it is, right? It's being taught. You've had it all your life. Not going any further. Nothing more there, right? So you have to fight that a little bit because you are not on this path if you didn't think that there was more towards you and life. It's all about you. And there is more to you and life. There's so much you can do with the you. So much that you can do with the you. So I want you to take that with me because I love it. I love it that I came to the transformation. Because what does it do for me? If something happens, I always find this sense of peace. I already know it's going to be okay. I already know it's going to get better. I already know there's more out there for me and that is better out there for me at the end. I might not like the phase that I'm in, that I have to go through and the things that I have to deal with. There's grief, there's pain, there's death, there's illness. But the deep faith and the deep sense of peace and joy is not being shattered. And that's what I want to share with you. That's why it's so amazing that you're going to take those steps and truly can tell other people, I don't want you to throw me off. In that phase where all those people are, "Ah," right? I don't want you to throw me off. This is good for me. I do it is good for me. I need to do this. And then you're going to go into phase number 4. And that is that amazing feeling after taking information in, after growing, after getting to know yourself, after feeling your soul, after knowing where you need to be and truly believing it and being convinced that this is your purpose, this is where you need to be, and not being ashamed of it anymore. And you come to that place of that rebirth and healing, then you are in the last phase. You are in this amazing phase where you can start sharing, you're healing, and you're sharing. You feel it, and now you can translate it and teach it or help somebody else with it. Because you said, this is what it did for me. And I learned so much about the me. And I feel so good just being me. I just don't apologize for it anymore. I need to be here and I love what I do. And my purpose could be anything, but I want you to understand that I'm not going to apologize for it. But I can tell you, I can share with you what it did for me and why I'm always so happy, right? And I tell my clients that many times, you come to this place where you're always so darn joyful. And if that's the feeling that you want to have, of course things throw me off. Life doesn't stop coming at you. Life doesn't get any easier. You get better at it. That is my quote. You just get better at it. Life doesn't get any easier. You get better at it. Because you're just slowly coming to that place where you just know it's all for a reason. It's all good. You don't feel lost anymore. You don't feel that you're constantly seeking for a better place. You don't feel that the world needs to make you happy. You don't feel that you are constantly, on edge and stressed out and anxious. So you're just really, really in a slow pace, taking that journey into a deeper sense and knowledge of self. Dive into those souls. Dive into the souls. Leave everything behind once in a while. And I don't say that oh my gosh, you gotta leave your house, you gotta leave your front yard, your backyard, and you're just gonna, abandon the kids. But just take your time, once in a while, a little step forward to say, for instance, no, this is not good for me. Or to start saying, I love you, but maybe we can do this different because it's very healing for me if we do this different. Or start a sentence with, I would love us to see doing this because it's very healing and very good for me. So if you're putting yourself first in your thinking and where you need to be, you are having the right, you have the right to do that. You still have all the rights to argue or to not agree with somebody, but you can just better explain of why it is so good for you that you're taking this journey and this path forward to be more assertive, to explain things, to change things. Now I know a lot of times I say to my patients and clients, don't talk about change. So people have been in a certain pattern and in a certain rhythm all their life. They don't like you to come. around to say, I love you, now change, right? Wasn't there a great movie about that? Or a one woman show, I think it was so fabulous. It's called I Love You, Now Change. Change can be a really dirty word there, right? We don't want to go there because nobody wants to just change. Well, I thought you loved me for who I was. Of course I do. But I grew. I grew and I want you to grow with me. So change the word change for growth. Why should we not grow a little bit more together? Find deeper meaning together. Find what we can do to connect our souls and to be in that place of ultimate peace together. Hold hands. What else is there? What else is there to life that when you're in your 70s and 80s, not anymore? You don't care. You just want to walk hand in hand in the park with your loved one. Really? It's all everybody wants, all over the world. So when we're older, we want to have that connection and that spiritual, soft, intense, deep feeling of peace and freedom. Not being attached to anything anymore, feeling free. Not being intimidated anymore by people. Not being ordered around anymore by others. And you dare to say no, and you dare to say that's not good for me. I can't do it right now. Or I need to take some time. That all very liberating, very liberating. And so that in the end, you're just kind of walking hand in hand. It's all good. And then the deeper meaning of where you really are, you start seeing that because now you start seeing nature around you. Now you start seeing colors. Now you hear the sounds around you of the birds or maybe the whistling of the trees, whispering, whispering, whispering of the trees. They're talking to you, right? Now you start to smell the smell of the earth, the smell of the people around you, the smell in the air, the things that are coming to you. You start using your sentence, you start becoming more mindful, and you're totally in the moment. You're not so worried about tomorrow. Your anxiety is way out of the window. Might be still a little bit there. Normal. Everybody's watching the news, and it ain't good, right? So everybody's like, oh, but it's all deeper meaning to it. There's just a reason for all that. Do you fit in there? Yeah. You just need to do what you needed to do, what your purpose was, what your deeper meaning was. If that is for the family, if it's caretaking, if it's being there, if it's teaching, if it's you, just being that center of light and energy for the people around you. Leave everything behind once in a while. Like I said, not literally, but just emotionally, physically. Just leave it behind for a little bit and start searching that day of what made you so darn happy. Oh, it's such a relief. It feels so good to just do the whole day things that are filling you up, the things that are your true self. That's where you want to come to. So you really want to grasp all that and go into that spiritual journey. Are you still being a Christian? Yes. You still being Hindu? Are you Jewish? Yes. But everybody knows that we have a connection together, all together. And that's where we want to go. We're all connected over the whole world. There's so many reasons for us to be here. And it is to truly shine and to truly give. So just be gentle. Go at your own pace. Didn't tell you that you have to dive in the library tomorrow, leave everything behind, and go sit there the whole day. No, read a little book and read something that makes you see a little bit better. Or just internalize something that you heard. Internalize quotes. You don't have to repeat them necessarily. But I had these quotes that were about my purpose that was truly, had a truly, truly, truly deep meaning to me. And it said something, I think it was uh, something to the nature of if you are wanting to find the goal of life is to find your purpose. And then the next sentence was the purpose of life is to give it away. And I slowly came to an understanding of what that mentor had given me with that phrase. I truly came to an understanding of what it meant. It is still hanging here. That's it, above my desk. They say that Pablo Picasso said it. The true meaning of life is to find your purpose, your why. And then the purpose of life is that you give that away. You can help other people. You can do good. Doesn't matter what you do. Whatever your purpose is. Teaching, helping, caring, nursing, being there for the family. Mommying. Mommying. Is that a word? Mommying. Right? Whatever it is, if you feel good, that is where you need to be. If that gives you peace, and you're not so angry and so anxious and so full of fear anymore, then that's where you need to be. That's where we slowly need to go. So be gentle. Like I said, go at your own pace. Figure out your own pace journey. Maybe you join a club. Maybe you join a group to do so. Maybe you join winwinwomen.tv, right? So where we are all are and sharing exactly this kind of stuff with each other. Where do we need to be? What do we need to hear? Oh, I need to go to listen to this other show host because she has amazing information for me. Maybe it's something that I want to know. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's something about meditation. Maybe it's something about a physical strength or fitness, things that I do. Yes, I would be interested in that, right? Playing those cards deeper, truer, and diving into my trauma, diving into my past. What I'm gonna do with it stays with me for the rest of my life. But what am I gonna do with it? That is so important. So go deep diving. Go dive. Go dive off the highest, the highest, the highest, the highest cliff. If you don't try something, you don't know. And then it's a whole other topic, but then you might become older and you might say, oh, I just regret that I didn't do this. I regret that I didn't try that out. And I regret that I never knew. So you don't want to be there. Be more mindful of sharks. Be more mindful of dragons. Be more mindful of demons around you. Ignore them, walk by. Don't listen, move on. Believe in what you're doing. Believe in your journey. Believe in where you need to be. Don't listen to all those voices, right? Don't take it personal. Big time. Don't take it personal. Very important. So let them do whatever. Doesn't matter. And record, write down what you learned and what you have experienced, where you feel things, where you're growing, what makes a difference. How are you acting out to others or acting towards others? Are you different? Are you kind? Are you settled? Are you at peace? Is nothing going to be able to throw you off? Nobody going to be able to throw you off. Yes, of course, I have dark days and I have bad days and I have angry days and I have days, right? So not everything is solved by just meditating or being mindful. But I am so much more aware of being in the moment and what I learned and where I need to stay. I need to stay in that moment. Anxiety is standing outside with an umbrella, waiting on it to rain while you're in Texas and it's 100 degrees. Something like that, right? Like in the moment. I love to share this with you because the whole journey, the whole experience, learning, listening to others, being able to internalize and do and feel something with it, right? We say find, feel, and then just kind of like acknowledge it and heal. We really want you to do that. I really want you to do that. And I want you to reach out anytime you have questions. I love to share this with you. And I will go more and more and more and more into all that kind of stuff of sharing. I love it. And I'm so grateful that I am here to be able to share this with you. I am grateful for all of you watching. I am grateful for the conversation we're going to have afterwards. And I am always grateful for being able to help. That makes me happy. That fills up my soul, fills up my heart. So thank you for coming to the show today. Namaste. And namaste a while, right afterwards. And please reach out. Read my book, see my videos on YouTube. You can find everything and anything, how to reach out to me as a life coach, how to get a session with me. Please find me. If you're watching today, get a free session. My gift for you today. So find me on www.elianhaan.com. Grab that free session, reach out, and watch videos and share, and let me hear your story. Very grateful. I love you. Namaste.